The definition of behavioral interview is that you sell yourself on your past experiences as the best predictor of success in your future role. Yet still, that type of backwards thinking might not set the best context when it comes to selling yourself in a job interview, simply because, a forward-looking person is perceived slightly more positively than a backwards-looking one. So how do you blend the two, and how can you use forward thinking to your advantage in a behavioral interview? The first scenario would be while building your stories, think of your best story. Okay, you present that story in a STAR format, the classic behavioral approach. What if after presenting your story, that past experience, you'd also link it with forward thinking going into your new role? How can that benefit in your future role? For example, a senior accountant might talk about how they automated some tariff refund requests, saving, a ton of money and time. And then, after presenting that STAR answer, they would link that. And I believe this would be a great thing I could also implement for your business as well. So you would exhibit forward thinking, in a context of sending a message of positivity, but also commercialism. What's in for them, so to speak, from your experiences. So if you look at your stories, try to exhibit this forward thinking after presenting your STAR answers, right? The second scenario of where forward thinking can save your interview, so to speak, would be some less favorable situations during the job interviews. Two examples here. If they ask you, hey, why are you leaving your previous role? You might be leaving your previous role because you were impacted by a layoff. In which scenario you could, say it briefly, yes, I was impacted by a layoff, but you would want to stress how your unique skills and opportunities will play a significant advantage if they hire you. Okay, so what's in for them? Again, so forward thinking. Why this role? Why this company? Why now? Will paint a significantly superior picture of you when compared to, maybe stressing over how tough the market is, how so many of your ex-colleagues were impacted by that layoff. That's not your fault, right? So forward thinking. Okay, and the second example of a rather difficult interview question is, what's your weakness? Okay, so you might have heard the classic approach to answer this interview question would be public speaking. My weakness is public speaking. Maybe you have no problem speaking in front of small crowds of known people, but you cannot speak well in front of large crowds of unknown people. Okay, so this would be the classic example. Now, what if you added a note, something online, and for this I am attending and I will attend Toastmasters to improve my communication skills. So notice how you transition from your weakness, which is something not really favorable to you, to a forward-thinking type of approach, which paints you as in a more positive context, so to speak. And the third scenario I'd like to share with you when forward-thinking will help you in this job, it is actual interview questions, non-technical questions that are asking for your forward-thinking. Specifically, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? This is a pretty common HR question, and some candidates prefer to answer this in the not the most appropriate way, so to speak, such as in your role. I see myself 5 years from now in your role, or 5 years from now I see myself starting my own thing. I don't like working for someone else. And obviously not the most appropriate way to answer this one compared to I see myself advancing on the individual contributor track or in the manager track, or maybe you have some good understanding of the role that you're applying for, and you understand where they want to be in the 5 years, and you would link that with your vision over the next 5 years, right? And the other interview question, which is relatively new in job interviews and used to be trending last year, was what's your 60, 90, and 2-year plan if you get the job, right? So what's your plan in your new role? So this is also the forward-thinking types of questions that, in my experience, it's worth preparing for, because it will, again, help you to connect your abilities, your skills, your aptitudes with what's in for them, with the type of abilities required in that role, right? So forward thinking will help you paint a more positive picture of you as a candidate. I hope you found this useful, and thank you very much for watching.